Hi everyone. Here's one of my favorite times of the year is with Ness, and she's got a whole layout. You guys are going to love this. I can't wait.
Yes,
Okay,
yes.
give us the 411.
Oh, thank you, Linda, for having me. Hi, folks. I'm back again. We are going to be today talking about a lot of things, actually. We are going to be talking about the dreams. So, when I was here last time, both Linda shared some dreams she had about Trump. I shared some dreams that I had about Trump, and then we asked y'all to submit your dreams about Trump, and we're going to share what we've heard from y'all and the analysis that comes from it. We involved ChatGPT, so it helped us parse through that. So we're going to talk about that. And then we're going to pull cards and we're going to see based on what the dreams say, how does Trump sort of exit our narrative, exit our world,
Yes.
exit stage right. And then we're going to talk a little bit about the numerology because we learned some cool things that are happening with 2026 and the last time we were at a year one. And then we're going to go into 2026 astrology as a whole. We have some good things. I mean, are you feeling, Linda? I feel the energies are shifting.
I can feel it.
I feel things are lightening up. I
Well,
feel
I also, that what really helps, and I can tell you this, I know beyond a reasonable doubt, there's more Republicans that are turning their back on Trump than not.
yes, we saw
Okay, Jack, thank you.
he wants to be on the call too. Wants to give us 2 cents. Yeah, we saw Elise Stefanik. She's just like, I'm
That was a shock after she bends over backwards for that man. And
yes.
he said he just wasn't going to support her.
Yes. Yeah. For folks who are not familiar, Elise Stefanik announced she's not running for governor and she's possibly leaving the House soon. And it all comes around that she was running for governor as the Republican candidate against Kathy Hoosh. I can't pronounce her last name, the current Democrat
Yeah,
governor of
yeah.
New York. And then another Republican nominee ran for governor in New York. And Trump said he will not endorse either of them. He's going to let the cards fall. And Elise took that as a complete slight because she was so loyal to Trump. And yes, so she said not only she's not running for governor anymore, she is possibly leaving the House, which makes it open,
I heard
possibly.
she is leaving. That is not
Oh, she
possibly.
is. Oh, okay,
Yeah.
it's official. Okay. So yeah, the people peripheral to Trump, winds are changing.
And
Things are
his
shifting.
people are looking at him like, what the hell are you doing? He doesn't care.
Do you think they thought they were going to be there for 4 years, or what do you think they
Oh, I
thought?
think they did, but he's not going to be there no 4 years. I'm telling you right now. I
Oh,
said
interesting.
this the minute he stood in the office. I said, that man's not going to last 4 years. I
Okay.
give him two at the most.
Why do you think Susan Wiles did what she did? Do you think she was super smart and strategic in trying to
She
position
must have
herself?
done something because I heard she's no idiot.
Yes, that's what I heard too.
But,
Yes.
for her to say he's like an alcoholic and all this stuff, and then she says she does that thing that Trump does. Oh, they lied. They
Yeah.
took my words out of proportion. And I saw the guy being interviewed, the one who interviewed her.
Yeah.
And he said, it's not my call, but Vanity Fair has the tapes. They can play
Yeah.
those tapes anytime.
Yeah. Yeah. But if Trump believes the media's out to get him, and then Susan Wiles says, "Look, you're right, Trump. They did it to me too." He is more likely to believe that as opposed
Yeah,
to
because she's one of his favorites. But
yes.
remember, I always saw a woman going against him and it would break his heart. That's what made me think it might even be his daughter.
Oh, interesting. You
And
think it might be
they
Susan?
said she was his favorite. And
Oh,
this has
interesting.
offset him. He wants to believe her, but knowing those tapes, he doesn't know quite what to think.
That's
So
interesting.
he's out there alone right now.
Yeah, he called her Susan Trump just a week ago at one of those rallies. Oh, and you saw the did you actually watch the speech that happened last week? The
No,
the Trump speech, the 18-minute
no.
run-on sentence. It was
I
awful.
heard it was terrible.
It was
Did
terrible,
you?
but it also interrupted a bunch of broadcasting. I think Survivor had their finale, other television shows had their finale, and they had to cut into that just to broadcast that.
And he
And
wasted everybody's time.
he really did wait. I actually think that did more harm for him than good. I think it made people more move away from him, the powers
Yeah,
that
because
be.
he's not adding anything to the conversation.
No, not at all. Not at all.
And this whole Kennedy thing, that's going to be gone in a flash of an eye.
I know.
As soon as that's going to be changed ASAP. He was supposed to go through Congress before he did anything like that.
He
But
knows.
as soon as people start dropping out and stuff, you're going to see all that. He's not
Yeah.
his name won't be up there very long.
Yeah, there's been rumors that there's like a list of 20 GOP Congress people that are ready to bail, they're ready to leave. And I was like, I don't know, this could be like conspiracy theory, but when Elise Stefanik just like dropped right like a hot potato right away, like I'm out of here.
Yeah.
It makes me think that maybe there are going to be more people that are about to drop soon, like
Yeah.
just leave. And then in theory, the House could be open to be switched earlier
Yeah.
than the midterms. Do you see that with your cards or
I
your
think it's going to
insights?
switch earlier. I've always been saying that.
Wow.
I've always been saying that.
And then what's to stop them to just impeach him outright?
Well, see, they won't have the numbers.
Oh, because the Senate still,
They
they'll have
won't
the
have the
House.
numbers
Okay, okay,
to pass anything because they don't have enough Republicans. It's going to be the
okay.
Democrats. And let me tell you, once the Democrats are in there, they may not complete impeaching the moment that happens, but especially come November when it's a wipeout,
Yep.
that's when you're going to see the paperwork. Let me tell you, they got that paperwork sitting there ready to go. Just
Yes,
like the last time when I told you he was going to
yes,
lose.
yes.
I said they got the paperwork ready to go, and they did as soon as
I
they were in there.
I wouldn't be surprised if Jack Smith did that on the side, just got it ready for them.
It's all ready to go.
I just have the exit there. Yeah, and the people peripheral to Trump are very much looking for the exit. I don't think it, takes a rocket scientist to see their behavior. And then Turning Point TPUSA had their convention this weekend, and the MAGA groups there was so much infighting. They
I
were
heard
just
it. Somebody was
all
talking
jock
about it.
they're all jockeying for power and control, and I haven't seen them this nervous since like in a long time. Usually they're like have bravado and confidence, but
Yeah,
they're
even
fighting
that
each other.
Steve Bannon, he was really talking trash about somebody.
Yes. I don't know if he was talking trash about Vance. He was very he talked about, a lot of folks don't like Candace right now. So a lot of folks are talking trash about her at the convention. But yeah, there's a lot of they're kind of out for blood. They did, I think, soft back Vance at the convention this past weekend. And it's interesting because Susan Wiles, I don't know if you saw at the Vanity Fair, she was positioning herself after Marco Rubio. She wasn't. She didn't. She talked very negative about Vance, and she was boistering Marco Rubio, which kind of adds to the fact that a lot of the psychics don't see Vance
I
as
never
the
saw
person.
Vance,
But it's
but I
but
don't see Marco Rubio either. He could try to run, but he's not going to
Okay.
win.
You don't see him, and somehow
No,
they do some sort of legal maneuver to get Trump
no,
and Vance out. And okay,
no.
well, that's good. We can kind of put that to bed. Okay, well, then let's get into it. Let's get into I know I'm so excited to share. So I'll do a quick little like 2 minute infomercial bit, and then we're going to get into the dreams, folks. We're going to share the cool things that or not we, ChatGPT did in terms of analyzing folks' dreams. Let me go into this. So, folks, oops, sorry, I'm not showing the right thing. Here we go. So, folks, I don't have a YouTube channel, but what I do have is a newsletter. So, if you want to join my newsletter, just pull out your phone and scan this with the camera app, and then it will automatically add you to my newsletter. And my newsletter is where I share, these forecast videos where I share the astrology for the month. I also share like other recommendations, like I have nerdy woo woo book recommendations. This is a book about where the government uses psychics. The same author actually wrote the book that supported the film The House of Dynamite. I don't know if you watched The House of Dynamite. It's
No.
on Netflix. It's a good
Oh, but
film.
I
It's
did see that movie you told me with Le- uh, um,
Oh, Leonardo
Leo
DiCaprio, one battle
DiCaprio.
after the other.
I didn't like it. It was too intense for me.
It was very intense. Do you remember
Yeah.
at the end with the
Yeah.
road?
Oh, that made me nauseous.
That made me nauseous too, actually. Very creative though. Who would have thought to make a movie with the roads like that? So yeah, if you want to join my newsletter, you can there. My signature reading as an astrologer is the 2025-2026 paradigm shift. If you're someone who's had a lot of big changes in the past year or two, astrology is here to help, provide clarity on what is happening and where you're moving towards. And then I also just launched my 2026 astrology calendar. Oh my gosh, Linda, that was such an ordeal. That's why folks haven't seen me in a while because I've been off manufacturing all of these like a little Keebler elf. And these astrology calendars, you get 12 pages, one per month. And this allows you to look at the planetary energies per month to get a forecast for you. And a lot of it is kind of designed, it looks like a lot of information. It can feel a little bit overwhelming. But what it is you can kind of unpack your astrology like a board game. So when it comes to astrology, there are levels. There's like you look at this first, and then you look at this second, and you look at this third, and et cetera. And you can go deeper and deeper and deeper. So the calendar is meant to first show the planetary energies of a month to see what new energies, where do they move from and where they move to. And then the first thing I recommend folks to do is look at the numerical houses to see where it occurs in your life. So look at if it's in your third house, what does your third house mean? Eighth house mean? For example, Linda, when eclipse season happened, that happened in our health axes, our sixth house and 12th house axes. So that's when I told you back in September, eclipses are going to impact your health. And that's going to be where you look
Which it is right
numerically.
now.
Oh yeah, you're still kind of yeah, you have 3 more months to go. And then you look at your natal placement. So there's like levels. It's like a video game, like a board game where you can look at different levels and understand your chart. And we're going to talk about this later, but one of the 2026 astrology events is in January. There's a pileup where a lot of planets are going to all be in late stage Capricorn, early stage Aquarius. And for Aries rising, that's your 10th and 11th house. So there's something about work that's going to come up with that pileup and something moving into networks and broadcasting what you're doing at work in a larger way. So the calendar is going to be great to be like your own personal astrologer throughout the year. And so that's my infomercial bit. And now we're going to move into the dreams. And so, folks, Linda, you've been sharing different dreams you've been having about Trump. You've been sharing different members' dreams you've been having about Trump. And when I was on your show, goodness gracious, almost 2 months ago, we talked about some dreams that we had recent, and then we asked folks in the chat in the audience to share their dreams. And we had over 120 people submit their dreams. Thank you so much for that. And what I did was I took all those dreams, I put it into an Excel sheet, and then I put it into ChatGPT, and I had them run an analysis. And I had them run so many different analysis, like what's the themes about objects, time, like what are they noticing? And then I even asked them to say, treat these dreams as premonitions. What are you seeing? And these were the coolest things that I thought were worth sharing with y'all in terms of the dreams. The first thing is the tone of the dreams was anxiety, was confusion, was moral tension, it wasn't a calm dream. It wasn't this person was our savior. It wasn't that this person was providing clarity. Often the Trump dreams, he was confused. He was anxious. He was, reckoning with his moral actions. And I thought that's interesting to show like how people saw Trump. Another thing that came up all across the dreams is a lot of folks saw Trump in isolation. He wasn't working with someone else. He wasn't interacting with the dreamer. The dreamer was often this observer watching Trump by himself. And often in the dreams, Trump was speaking. He was communicating. He was talking about something or saying something. He wasn't sitting, writing on his desk. He wasn't thinking. He wasn't sleep. It was about him speaking. And he's a Gemini sun, so I think that was interesting. His energetic signature in folks' dream was speaking and communicating. And the big style of his speaking and communicating was lying. A lot of the dreams just had Trump lying or spreading false propaganda or look over here, look over there. And I thought that was very fascinating in terms of how he came across a lot of folks' dreams. Then I started to ask ChatGPT to make an analysis. Okay, if this is a premonition dream, what are you seeing? Like what is the writing on the wall? And they said across the board, Trump's power is slipping. They said his energy was slipping. They said a lot of the times he wasn't being believed. He was trying, in some folks' dreams, he was trying to tell people things, they weren't listening. They were walking away from him. So there was an element of his power was slipping. He was no longer believed. He was no longer listened to. He didn't have the audience that he had. There was a lot of dreams about him speaking to an audience, waving to an audience, and that was dissipating. I actually added one dream last minute. Kevin Chandler from Loving Vibrations, he just had a Trump dream last Friday and Friday morning. And in that dream, he had an image of Trump very translucent, and he's like waving to a crowd, very similar to when he came down that escalator. He's waving to the crowd, but he's translucent, and there's like a glowy angelic light behind him, like he's sort of transitioning, but he's like really hungry to kind of wave to the crowd. And then the image of Joseph Stalin kind of came on to it. And we Googled it. Joseph Stalin passed away in his sleep. And so there was something interesting because that's actually, I had the dream personally last time was Trump passing away in his sleep, and it was very anticlimactic. So that was interesting that ChatGPT noticed across the dreams his power was slipping. People were not listening to him. His audience was waning. And the last thing, which I think is very interesting too, is they didn't see legal reckoning with him. They didn't see anyone take him down. The ChatGPT noticed across all the dreams, Trump did it to himself. He was his own demise. And I think that just was so fascinating that this wasn't like, you saw that woman was maybe a woman might take him out, but you're now, perhaps seeing a woman will disappoint him the way Susan Wiles does. But it's interesting, like there's no savior that kind of comes in here and kind of hits the blow. It's really he does it to himself. And when I think about the speech he did last Wednesday, he did it to himself.
I know.
That was,
Talking nonsense, telling people, your shoes are white when they're black. And
exactly.
they're looking at black shoes, and he's just talking like he knows everything. He's a whack job.
But it also shows the people around him didn't tell him no. Like,
Yeah.
didn't say, Susan Wiles, right? She didn't say, hey, maybe this is not the best thing to do. We could do something else. And I also noticed with that speech, there was no one behind him. He often has his bros, his squad
Yeah.
behind him when he has these speeches, like as a force of might. But he was there all by himself, just speaking with, with his speech candy.
Right. He's a whack job. But there's that one person that met me in Laguna Hills
Mhm.
that told me she had that dream that the military came in and told Congress, you need to start, what do you call when they get rid of a
Articles of
president?
impeachment. Yes.
You need to do it now, or we'll
Yes.
just go in and force them out.
Yes, that did. There were some military removing dreams, but yeah, across the board, yeah, it
And
was
I
an
think
interesting
that's
thing.
part of the last slice because
Yeah.
he's doing this Venezuela stuff. He's going to create some havoc that will kill American men and women,
I think
and
so.
America won't put up with it.
Interesting. Yeah. It's interesting. I grew up at a time when we went to Iraq with weapons of mass destruction argument, scratch, is that
I
real?
remember that.
Yeah. And then we're seeing this thing with Venezuela, and I just didn't think it would happen in my time, that we would have some other false flag. We must invade
That's what
something
it
that.
is, a false flag. It's a bunch of crap.
So, yeah. Okay. So now, game show time. Let's look at the current energies of how Trump sort of exits. So, we're going to pull a couple cards, or Lynn's going to pull a couple cards on some questions. The first question, given the Trump dreams and how people saw he's exiting, let's see what the cards say, yes or no, if Trump will stay all 4 years in office. You're already getting your own psychic hits that he's not going to be there
Yeah,
for
but
four
let's ask the
years.
cards.
Let's ask
No,
the cards. Yeah.
no, he's
No.
unable to stay. No, he's trying to communicate and say, but the cycle will change. No, he will not. That two probably means 2 years, just like I said.
Oh, interesting. So then he basically might be here till the end of 2026, and
Yeah, right. I think right when the midterms happened is when
that's
he's
when his
exiting.
energy.
Yeah,
Oh, interesting. Very, very interesting.
it might
Okay.
be our Christmas present next year.
Oh, that would be a nice Christmas present. End of this year one cycle. Okay, so then let's game show net round number two. Um, let's ask the cards. Is Trump going to leave office? Is he going to pass away? Like, is he going to be removed, impeached, leave office, or is he going to pass away, natural causes?
Can you
Because
give me?
the dream I had that was so prominent is he passes away in office. It's very anticlimactic.
Yeah, interesting. It's showing unable to communicate, so he might have a stroke or something.
Oh, interesting.
There's some sort of judgment upon him, so he might be lying about something
Some legal
or
reckoning.
creates chaos, but judgment comes before him. It's not really saying death. I'm telling you, he won't last much longer. I don't see him living another 4 years for sure.
Okay.
But
Okay.
he's in a lot of trouble, and it's something to do with stealing money. It's something to do with the military.
Hmm.
I see Hedgehog in trouble,
Okay. So you're seeing more of a legal reckoning.
battles, and then he can't take it. He's.
Okay, interesting. Okay. And then the last question for this round is, do you see Vance as president?
I automatically want to say no, but let me double check.
Yeah, even this past week, or last week, Usha Vance was, she happened to go outside without her wedding ring. And I think she's sort of negotiating behind the scenes. And so I'm curious if what the cards see for Vance. I don't see him as president. Susan Wiles, I was surprised she undercut him.
And
And
you
she's
know,
so
he really thinks he had it in like Flint with this Charlie Kirk's wife.
yes,
Like
yes.
he's part of this but the Charlie Kirk movement is falling.
Yeah.
They're not
Yeah,
big
yeah,
shots
the
anymore.
so much infighting this past weekend. I
And
mean,
that's
Charlie
Steve
Kirk was
Bannon
the
even talking trash. And you know what? He'll even have trouble getting money to try to run. So he may try to run, but he won't win.
he won't have fundraising. Oh,
No.
interesting.
Look at him looking at it saying, I can't
Yeah.
believe I can't get in there.
Do you think he's actually going to temporarily be president, Vance?
No.
You don't think so? Okay. Okay, so folks, we
Because let me tell you something. Let
yeah.
me just throw this out.
Yeah.
Why did I just get that? What I feel is he's in trouble right alongside with Trump when the impeachment starts happening. He's
Mm-hmm.
part of this team,
Mm-hmm.
including Rubio, that they have. You won't believe the paperwork. And you know who'll be standing right in the middle of this helping them out is Jack Smith.
Oh, yeah. I feel like he's got plan A, plan B, plan
I
C.
mean, he went in there and told Jim Johnson, listen, your boy was trying to sell nuclear secrets to other nations for a price.
Yeah.
He's treasonous.
Yeah. They didn't tell folks what was said at the closed door hearings last weekend or last week, but I remember Congresswoman Lofgren of in California, she did a news interview afterwards and she was just like you could tell she's bone chilled, like what she
It
saw
was
is like
terrible.
yeah, it was very, very terrible in terms of what
And
information they
that
had.
just pissed Trump off more, and he acts out more. Like
Yes.
he'd love for Jack Smith just to be arrested on the street.
Oh
He's
yeah.
told them, just go in and arrest him now, but they can't do it.
No, they have no ground. I mean, they did with tried it with Letitia and Comey, and look where that went.
Mm-hmm.
That
Mm-hmm.
went just sideways. Okay, so you don't do you see Trump? Okay, so you don't see Vance being in office
No,
if Trump leaves because whatever takes Trump down somehow
it
takes
feels like Vance is coming with it. Like there's something attached to him that pulls him down.
pulls
That
him
whole
down.
administration's going down,
They're all so
including
even
Biden.
Marco Rubio gets caught in it
Even
too.
Marco Rubio. They're
Oh,
all
interesting.
trash. I see a few good Republicans trying to come out and say, hey, maybe I'll try. But
Yeah.
anybody that stood with Trump is going down. This is going to be pretty ugly. This is the 1 year.
This is the 1 year.
This is the
Yeah.
1 year.
This is the 1 year. This is where everything is shifted. Oh, I love that. We'll go right into but because the next topic I want to talk about is the 1 year.
Okay.
So this is perfect. So yeah, so folks, this is 2026 is a 1 year. If you're new to numerology, what you do is you add it. So you add 2 plus 0 plus 2, which is 4, plus 6, which is 10. And then you add, because they're 2 digits, you always want it to go down to 1 digit. So 10 becomes 1 plus 0 is 1. So year 2026 is a 1 year. And a lot of the times we look at January 2026 to December 2026. That's how we organize the energies. And a 1 year is all about new beginnings, fresh starts. It's very similar to a new moon. And a 1 year is the beginning of a 9 year cycle, usually. And so we as individuals, we're both individually, unique beings having our own experiences, but we're also interconnected to this collective energy and what the collective energy is doing. And when the collective is having a 1 year, you might not be having a 1 year personally based on your birthday. You're going to feel it. You're going to feel there's some invitation from the collective to participate in these new beginnings, these new identities for yourself, new projects, new romantic partners, new friend groups, new work initiatives, writing books. There's something about an invitation of the world asking you to take on a new role that you haven't taken before. And so there's a lot of this like maverick energy. Don't, rely on the past, don't rely on precedent. start new things. I wouldn't be surprised, Linda, if you start new projects in 2026, new, new versions of your channel grows, or you might write another book in 2026 or have an idea. There's something about, oh, I want to do this now. I want to try this. Like that's the vibe of it. And I also want to point this out. So I was on Kevin Chandler's show on Friday, but he and I had the same thought the day before at the same time, and we both realized that's going to be our focus of our show on Friday, which was when was the last time we had a year one? And when I looked this up, it just made me so happy and hopeful. Yes, I don't want 2020, 2017 year one was with Trump, but it's that new energy. We're like turning the page and we are starting something new. And so, yes, 2017 was the beginning of the Trump cycle. And we're now turning the page from that. And we're going to start another version of what we want in terms of a new world order, this collective reset that we're entering. And so I know also, as much as this is a collective vibe of Trump, becoming president the first time, January 2017, or Obama. Oh my goodness, I remember how excited I was in California when he won, election night, and we
That
were
was
able to see him
exciting.
being inaugurated with his little girls too. They were so adorable with their little dresses and walking on inauguration day. But that energy of that, something new, we're turning a page. We are no longer there. We are now here is the vibe of year one. And I also noticed that I started a new cycle on 2017. I changed. I relocated. I had new careers. I joined a new friend group. I had new life experiences when I started this 2017 year cycle. Also in 2008, I started a cycle. Do you think, can you think, Linda, did you also see that in
Well,
2017?
in 2018, I started my YouTube channel.
Oh, there you go. There you go. You were
And
getting
in
ready to.
2008, I went through cancer.
Oh, there you go. So, folks, think back about what you started in that year one, because again, we are individual beings. So you're going to have your own life cycles, but then we're also attached to that collective energy. So, and then with that, if you started something in 2017 that was crummy, wasn't as great, you're going to wrap it up and you're going to have another project to sort of start with 2026. And then if you're, started something great, there's going to be another version, like another timeline that we're entering. So I want to share this with y'all because I was so happy when I saw this, that this 2026 is this new energy. So this is a great time to plant new seeds, start new things, kind of open your horizons, kind of like the Three of Wands card in terms of energies. So now we're going to move into the astrology of it all. And so this is, I was like texting you, Linda, like, hey, 2026, the astrology is very positive. We have it from numerology. We have it from cards. Actually, Linda, do you ever pull cards for yourself for your year
No,
energy? Like,
I
okay, you don't.
used to a while, but no, not anymore.
Okay, do you pull cards for yourself at all, or do you just have other people pull cards for you?
I
Oh,
have other
interesting.
people.
Okay, I
I
actually
can't
asked.
read myself. I can't read my family. And I used to say people want to be friends with me, but they don't realize that the
Yeah,
more close I am to you, the harder it is for me to read you.
yes, yeah, that's total because you want the best for them, so
Yeah,
it's like hard to really see the reality of what the
right.
cards are. Nate says when he reads for himself, he pretends someone else asks him the question,
Oh,
and
that's a
so
good way.
yeah, so he's able to kind of circumvent. So he just visualizes the person is sitting across from him, asking him that question, and he's throwing cards for that person, even though it's his own question. And he's
Oh,
that's his hack. So there you go, folks, if you want to try to pull cards for yourself. So 2026, we're gonna unpack 2026 again when I visit in a couple weeks, but I'm just gonna talk about some four key vibes that I see for 2026. The first one is the outer planets ingress for the last time. And so this can sound a little astrology wordy. Basically, it means the outer planets. So in astrology, we have inner planets that change signs once a month. They go from, Aries, from Pisces to Aries, or Gemini, sorry, Taurus to Gemini. They change, once a month. And then we have the outer planets that take years to change signs. And if you view an image of the solar system, you'll see all these inner planets way over here. And then way out here are all the outer planets. So in astrology world, when the outer planets do something, it's a big deal. It's seismic, kind of like our California earthquake seismic. It's like it
yeah.
catches your attention. And so the outer planets all change signs And when they change signs, they're going to stay there. They're not going to dip back and forth and, retrograde again. So we have Neptune, we have Saturn, we have Uranus, and we have Jupiter, these outer planets all changing signs. And Pluto has already, that's the last one, has already changed sign. It's already staying in Aquarius. But these four other folks are going to join the party. They're going to join the party and they're going to stay there. And that's going to be a big vibe shift. That's a big generational, vibe shift of, oh, wow, we're in this new world order. Oh, this is this new place. We're not going back there anymore. This is where we
Right.
are. Like, for example, the DNC, they decided not to release the report about the postmortem of, I don't know if you saw that this past week. The DNC that said that they're not going to release the report on why they lost the.
What do you think what that's about?
I have two minds. If it's the non-woo-woo mind says it's a distraction. Like, we're looking at the past, we need to focus on the future and take Trump down. My woo-woo conspiratory mind goes, they know what happened and they can't release it. What about you? What are your thoughts about it?
Well, I just think it's weird they're not doing it.
And they've always done it too. They've never not done it. This is
I
the
think
first
it
time.
would cause some trouble if they released it.
Why? What do you think is in
It
it?
would go against Trump.
It would just be negative against
And
him.
then they would be all on him. You guys are faking, you're lying, and all that stuff.
Can you take a detour? Can you pull cards and see why
Yeah,
they?
I just know it's going to throw.
Okay, I'm curious.
Yeah, the news is upside down. So they
It's
don't want, they need to keep their strength going so
yeah,
they can win the whole. I think if they do it, the message gets all messed up because they'll accuse them of lying.
yeah.
You know how
That's okay.
people get in trying to protect Trump.
Okay, got it. Because they know. I feel the winds are changing. They know they have the midterms in their pocket. Like, it's basically theirs to lose right now. So,
Exactly.
so
Exactly.
okay, that makes more sense. So that's the big vibe for 2026. We're entering this new world order, very much like the year one of numerology. And then I'm going to talk about some four key events. We're going to talk about January's pileup. January kind of ends on a bang and a breakthrough. So there's some sort of pressure cooker moment that sort of happens in January, and then woo, we're in this new reality. And I'll talk about it in your chart in particular, Linda, so we can look at what that means. There's also eclipse season, and the eclipses are moving outside of the Pisces Virgo axes, which was, for Linda and I, we're both Libra risings, was health issues for us, and it's going to move into the Aquarius Leo axes. And when it does that, it's going to hit Jupiter at one point and Pluto, which is really heavy hitter type of energy. And then April, very beautiful energy, very forward movement. I'm going to talk about it further, but if folks, you feel delays or stalls happening in your life, April, you are going to skip ahead. And then July is going to be something to watch out for. I think the most explosive, tense energy, very similar to January, where it's like this pressure cooker energy, but this whole new paradigm shifts in July. And I'll talk about that further, but that's just something we enter a whole new reality. There's some sort of tension happens that needs to happen. And then we get to this new reality, this new set of resources, the new set of tools. But that's kind of the four vibes that we're going to see. Let me unpack this January thing that happened. So January ends on a bang and a breakthrough. What I'm going to do is I'm going to show the calendar of Linda's. So folks, this is the calendar that I've created. It's 12 pages. It gives you an overview of each month on your natal placement. And we're going to see Linda's little natal chart here. And January ends on a bang, like a pressure cooker moment, but a breakthrough. Something sort of new emerges. And so in January, we have all these beautiful inner planets. We have Mercury, Venus, the Sun, Mars, and Pluto all coming together. And Linda, you're a Libra rising. So that's actually starting mostly late stage of fourth house of Capricorn, of your home, of your family. There's some sort of something coming to head either about your property, your inner world, your emotions, your body. Fourth house content sometimes could be the body, but something's kind of coming up, and this happens on a new moon at the same time. So there's some sort of pressure cooker moment happening with your emotions, your inner world, your family, and it's causing focus. Like, you need to focus on this. And then a breakthrough sort of happens with these beautiful energies all kind of focusing in at the same time, because as this happens, they move into Aquarius. So something middle of January feels intense. And then it moves into the fifth house for you, which is joy and pleasure. So you're sort of putting a sword down in some way in your life, Linda, because it's a fourth house, fifth house transit. There's some business you're sort of tackling in the middle of January, some wrap up, some old business, something maybe you've inherited from a family member type of thing. And you're going to wrap that up. And then you're going to be like, I just want things to be lighter. I want to just be in a stage of going to a restaurant and ordering all the desserts on the menu. I just want to think about vacation. And so your particular new moon is going to wrap up some old heaviness, resolve it so you can be in a lighter space. And that's kind of your January pileup. So folks, be aware of where this pileup is happening. It's creating this reset moment in your life, some sort of kind of energetic breakthrough that's going to happen for you. So notice what's late stage Capricorn, early stage Aquarius. Notice which numerical house it is, and then you can start to be aware of what it's going to be for your life and what those energies will translate to. So that's one thing in January. The other thing I want to talk about is April. And April has some beautiful, beautiful energy. And the first thing I want to really talk about with April is there are no retrogrades. All the planets are direct. So if you're having folks in your life, in especially January, February, March, where you're feeling, oh, things aren't happening. I'm thinking about selling my house. I'm thinking about buying a house. I'm thinking about going back to school. I'm thinking about maybe staying in my marriage or maybe leaving, like going, like if there's something feels like I can't make a decision, April will decide for you.
Okay.
April will cause you to force, yeah, to move forward because one, all the planets are direct. Two, a lot of planets are in Aries. And Aries is about starting things, beginning things. It's about moving forward. We have Saturn, Neptune, they've been there in Aries. But we also have Mercury there, we have the Sun there, and Venus was just there blessing it with his loveliness. And so there's something in April of like a new beginning, but also you're skipping 10 steps ahead. So I said this on Kevin's show. Have you ever played the game Shoots and Ladders, or Snakes and Ladders? It's a board game where you plan your steps, and if you go into a particular little piece, you can skip 10 steps, or you have to go back 10 steps. Like it's a fun, interesting thing to play. But in this April energy, it's like you're going to skip ahead. You're going to all of a sudden skip 10 steps ahead. So this is a great month to start new projects. So Lynn, if you're
Okay.
thinking about writing a book, this would be a good month to sit down and think about what you want to write. If you want to plan the rest of your year, April is a great time to sit down and plan. You just have so much buoyancy, like forward momentum. Not only do you jump 3 feet, you're going to jump 10 feet if you try to jump during this period. So folks, I love this energy for the collective. It's going to be very, very positive. You're really going to feel like your life moving. And I wouldn't be surprised in April if we really have a sense of Trump is sort of in the rear view mirror and we are really moving to this beautiful
Yay.
future. Yes, I know with
And
April.
that's not long. We're almost in January.
I know. I know. It's especially this time of year where November to New Year's goes by in like a blink. We're gonna feel so folks, hold on to April. If Trump does some weird things the next few months, just know April, the energies are gonna move for the collective, but also for you personally. And then the last thing I want to talk about is July. And July has some really interesting energies. And there's a big showdown that happens in July. And the showdown is between Jupiter and Pluto. So we have Jupiter here and we have Pluto. And they are going to be opposing each other. And when you think of opposing, think of it like a classic battle, like, good versus evil or, east versus west. And it's a classic battle where they are kind of comparably powerhouses and no one's really winning. No one's really making too much ground, gaining ground on another, but they're really heavyweights are causing a lot of destruction on both sides. But when we have this opposition, something really beautiful is going to happen. We're going to have this sextile with Neptune at the same time. We're going to have a sextile with Uranus at the same time. And we're going to have a sextile over here with Jupiter. And then we're going to have a trine and we're going to have a trine. So even though we have this opposing energy, we're going to have help with Neptune and Uranus. And so folks are going to have this breakthrough that will occur. So you're going to have tension in July about this issue with Jupiter and Pluto in your chart. And then you're going to have this whole breakthrough, this whole different way of orienting toward these opposing energies. And so for you, Linda, you're a Libra rising, and that's happening in your Aquarius Leo, which is your fifth and the 11th house. And I consider this fifth and 11th house the axis of creation. So the fifth house is the projects you create, your, things, ideas you have to kind of make new experiences. And the 11th house is the projects you do with other people. So there seems to be some tension about what you want to do as a project versus what someone else might have an idea for you to do as a project, collaborating, and you're going to have some new way of relating to that. Like, okay, how can I be a creative person here, and how can you be really collaborative, and how can we work together? There seems to be some tension that you'll have around that, and then you'll have a whole new paradigm of how your concept doesn't get lost, but also how their collaboration doesn't get lost, like a whole new way of relating to it. And so
Cool.
I wouldn't be surprised if we have some sort of tension in July, folks, for the collective. Maybe something happens politically or something happens with current events. But with that, I feel whole new leaders will emerge during this time. I feel like it's almost like we're going to have 10 Madanis sort of show up in July, like a whole new vision of leaders and a vision of the future. So, there's something very beautiful and positive with this energy. As much as it might feel pretty intense or kind of hard to kind of navigate, there's something new emerging in July, like a new paradigm. Um, like, oh my gosh, I've never thought we could do this before. There's something beautiful, kind of like when Obama was elected the first time. We're like, oh my gosh, we can have someone who can speak like this and talk. It's kind of outside the edges of our imagination. We can't even imagine this. This sort of emerges at the end of July. So those were the kind of top events I wanted to talk about. Let me go back to the slide because there was one last one I wanted to talk about, which was this new moon in Capricorn. So January 18th, we talked about the pileup. We talked about how all these planets are all coming to a head in late stage Capricorn, early stage Aquarius. And so, folks, I just want you to be aware of this new moon in Capricorn. It's doing some really nice things with Saturn and Uranus at the same time. They're all holding hands, they're all helping. There's something about this new moon in Capricorn, and Capricorn is about, structures, responsibilities, systems, long-term view. It wants to think about what's going to stand, 20 years in the future. And with this new moon, with this help with Saturn, Neptune, Uranus, there's some sort of breakthrough happening. Like, okay, let's be visionary about the future and let's think of how we can incorporate new technologies or new solutions. So there's something very new emerging on this January 18th. I wouldn't be surprised, folks, if you maybe start to incorporate AI in your life in a different ways, or maybe a new health regimen. There's something really new and inspiring that's going to start to plant and take root in everyone's life around January 18th. That's going to be sustainable. It's not a fad. This is like, okay, this is what I need to be doing now. Like, this is not what I've been taking shortcuts before. And so, folks, be aware of that. This is going to be very positive with this new moon in Capricorn. I just love this. I love this pile up. I love this new moon that's going to take advantage of it. And I'll speak more about 2026 astrology when I come back. And what I will also do when I come back, I will talk about Trump's 2026 very much like this. I'll actually have his natal chart at the bottom, and we will look at his forecast. We'll see how April goes for
Yeah,
him. If
that's
everyone else is
wonderful.
feeling great, how does his go? So yeah, so that's the
This is
2026
great.
astrology. I know it's
I'm
very
looking
positive,
for.
folks.
So stay on here because we'll make our appointment for the.
Yes, yes, we'll schedule that. Yeah. So folks, I want to just say winds are changing, things are shifting in 2026. I would don't worry, like, don't get caught in the trigger of Trump doing this and Trump doing that. And I also say take advantage of this energies of the year one of 2026 and start new things, plant
Yeah,
new seeds.
yeah,
Don't worry. It's okay to hope for the future.
yeah.
Yes.
Because when Obama got in, we got Obamacare. A lot of big changes happened, and
Yes.
that drive is behind it now. Because
I
Trump
feel
went in and he just became a player and he just showed off and he didn't do anything. Where Obama meant business.
yes.
So
I wouldn't be surprised it could be even bigger than Obama. Like there's something really hopeful. Yes. I know we
okay,
can't even imagine it because it doesn't exist yet. So until
yeah.
we see it, we will know. It's like seeing snow for the first time. You can't even imagine it
Yeah,
before
but I
until,
feel like a sizzling because I feel a coolness over the heat, like a
Mm.
sizzling,
Mm.
like calming
Like a
it all
calm.
down. We'll
Yeah.
be really looking out, and I'll do my 2026 predictions more towards the end of this month, but we're going to be having a lot of ecological changes too.
Yes, I'm in
Uh,
the Bay Area and we're having a lot of
yeah,
earthquakes here. So
but
it's yeah,
no Armageddon, but
no.
still, there's been a lot of flooding and stuff. It's very tough for people, and
Mm,
he just made it tougher. He makes it tougher for everyone. So.
yeah. It's not the
All
grown up
right,
anymore.
girlfriend.
Yeah.
So I'm going to put all your information from our last one on this one. Is that okay?
Yeah, we'll put, yeah, folks, if you want to register, go do it below. And then I'm also only opening 100 spots for the calendar because it is time consuming. So register if you want to have it by December 31st, and then I'll open it up again. And yeah, it just it takes a lot of time to kind of create it. And so
Yeah.
I'm just keeping a limited quantity, and it's first come, first sold. And then yeah, I might not really do it in after February. I might just take a break for a month or
All
so. Yeah.
right.
Yeah,
Okay,
awesome.
girlfriend. Thank you
Of
so
course. Thank you,
much.
Linda. Bye,
But you stay
everyone.
there.